Hey, what's up, everybody? This is B&J Productions. I'm Jacob, and this is Brandon, and today we've got our Week 10 predictions. First, we got number 10, Ohio State versus number 18, Michigan State. Ohio State is a 3.5-point favorite away from their home field, and Dwayne Haskins, the quarterback for Ohio State, has done really good this year. Will he lead them to a victory today, Brandon?
I think he will. I think Ohio State wins a little bit more than just a field goal. I think this is a two-score game right here.
Yeah, I think Ohio State wins. I don't know. I think they're going to stick close to the spread here, but could get better, could get worse. Who knows? I think Ohio State gets an easy win here. Up next, we got number 16, Mississippi State versus number 1, Alabama. Alabama is a 24-point favorite, like they should be. Nobody has come close to Alabama, especially not LSU last week, who got their butts whooped against Alabama. And will Mississippi State have any chance with quarterback Nick Fitzgerald?
No. I think Alabama is just too good of a team this week, and last week, and all weeks.
Alabama and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, he is amazing, and so is Coach Nick Saban. So I think they get this done probably more than 24 points. Up next, we got number 24, the Auburn Tigers versus number 5, Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia beat Kentucky last week. They're a 14-point favorite in this game. What's your pick here, Brandon?
I'm going to say this is a lot closer game than 14 points. I think Auburn really surprises some people and keeps it close, but I think Georgia still wins this in the end.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Auburn is going to try to surprise some people here. Quarterback Jared Stidham and his receivers did really well against A&M last week in a win there. But I think Georgia does win this game. I think they're a lot better than Auburn, but I think Auburn tries to keep it close. Up next, we got the battle of the two Oklahoma teams, Oklahoma State versus number 6, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a 21-point favorite at home. Who do you think wins here, Brandon?
Oklahoma easy. The Pokes ain't got nothing on the Sooners this game. Really all I got to say is just very unbalanced.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Kyler Murray's going to try to get a playoff bid for Oklahoma, but I think Oklahoma State doesn't stand a chance in this game, so they won't be able to stop him here. So I think Kyler Murray and the gang gets a win here. Up next, we got probably one of the biggest rivalry in the Big 12, number 19 Texas versus Texas Tech at Lubbock. Texas is a 1.5-point favorite. They've had some close games in the past. It's always been Texas or Tech. Who's going to win? Nobody really knows. Who do you got here, Brandon?
I think this is probably going to be one of the best games of the week just because these two teams always play each other very close. And I really want to say that Texas Tech pulls this one out. They've had a lot of really close games against good teams this year. And they usually end up with one upset every year, and I'd like that to be this week, this upset.
Yeah, they couldn't get it done against West Virginia or Iowa State, but I think Texas Tech has an opportunity here because it is at their home field, and I think Tech is going to get a close win over Texas, kind of the old Michael Crabtree touchdown. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think some things are going to go well for Tech and some things aren't for Texas, and Texas is probably going to bounce out of the top 25, and so I got Tech here in a very close one. Up next, we got number 2, Clemson versus number 17, Boston College. Boston College has only lost 2 games. Clemson, of course, is undefeated. Freshman quarterback Trevor Lawrence took over for Kelly Bryant, and Clemson is a 20-point favorite here. Who you got here, Brandon?
I think Clemson easily. I think this is the case of a much smaller school, conference-wise, going up against a big giant, and I don't think Boston really has the talent right now to make that upset happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Clemson.
Yeah, and Clemson is definitely the second-best team in the NCAA behind Alabama, probably by a long shot, but they have developed their game a lot more behind Trevor Lawrence, and I think they're going to get a huge win here. I don't think it'll be by 20 points, maybe 10 or 15, but I do think Clemson gets a win here. Up next, we got unranked Ole Miss versus unranked Texas A&M. A&M is a 13-point favorite at Kyle Field. Of course, probably the best stadium in college football. Who you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say Ole Miss because Ole Miss beat Texas Tech. And by that logic, if Texas A&M beats Ole Miss, then that means Texas A&M beats Texas Tech. I have to use that logic because we don't play each other anymore, and I can't brag whenever we win. But I'm going to say Ole Miss so that Texas A&M is not better than Texas Tech.
No, that's not going to happen, especially at Kyle Field. I think A&M gets it done. Coach Jimbo Fisher, he's been struggling along with Kellen Mond, the quarterback, but I do think they finally get things done in a safe atmosphere since they've been at Mississippi State and at Auburn. They almost beat the number 2 team in the nation at Kyle Field. What do you think they can do with an unranked Ole Miss team? So I got to go with A&M in this game. Up next, we got our NFL games. First, we got the 7-1 New Orleans Saints versus the 5-3 Cincinnati Bengals. Drew Brees upset the Rams last week with a good win. Alvin Kamara went off. Same with Mark Ingram. A lot of talent. Dez Bryant signed with the Saints this past week, and something that people didn't really expect. And the Bengals have had a couple losses this year and not very well played in those games. So, who do you got here, Brandon?
I think easily the Saints. The Saints are on a roll, and I can see them ending this year with only one loss going into the playoffs. Maybe one of the best teams in the NFL right now. It's up there with the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Saints, but the Saints might be the best team because they have a great defense behind them. So
yeah, I think I agree here. I think the Saints get an easy victory here over the Bengals. The Bengals and Vontaze Burfict, the most dirty player in the NFL. I don't think they're going to have anything on Alvin Kamara and Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees is playing one of the best games in the NFL right now, probably behind Patrick Mahomes. But I do think their team is better. I think it's Saints, Chiefs, Rams, Chargers, and top 4 right there. Patriots probably number 5. But I do think the Saints are going to get a good victory here. Up next, we got the 4-4 Atlanta Falcons versus the 6-1 Cleveland Browns. Atlanta is a 6-point favorite after beating Washington last week. The Browns, of course, lost to the Chiefs. Who do you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say Atlanta Falcons. They just have too much talent for the Browns right now. That's about it. Just Falcons are going to beat the Browns.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are going to get a win here. The division that the Saints, the Patriots, and the Falcons and the Buccaneers is a really tough division, and the Falcons, I think, are slowly picking up their game more and more, using more of Julio Jones and Ito Smith and Calvin Ridley and players like that to make their team a lot better. And they're now at 800. I don't think they lose for quite a bit till probably they play the Saints, and so I got to go with the Falcons here in this one. Up next, we got 2, 3, and 5 teams in the same division. The Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis is a 2.5-point favorite at home. What do you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say the Jaguars' defense is going to shut down the Indianapolis offense. And they're going to shut them down good enough to where the Jaguars' defense don't even have to – a Jaguar offense don't even have to play good to get this win.
And I think so, too. I think the Jaguars finally get their win that they've been looking for, haven't gotten one in a while. But since they started off 3-1, they've lost 4 straight. And I think they get one here against Andrew Luck and the Colts. Up next, we got the 3-5 Detroit Lions versus the 5-3 Chicago Bears. Chicago is in the lead in their division, and they are a 6.5-point favorite here. Who you got here, Brandon?
Well, since Khalil Mack is back this week and fully healthy this week, I'm going to say the Bears. I think he's going to be a big factor in this game. I think he'd be in the running for NFL MVP right now if he had not gotten hurt.
Yeah, and the Bears have taken a little bit of a step back, but they played some really good teams. But the Lions team is not very good, so I got to go with the Bears here. And I love this Bears team. I think they're going to win the division maybe over Minnesota. I don't think Green Bay has what it takes, but I do think Minnesota and the Bears are going to go neck and neck here. So I got to go with the Bears in this game. Up next, we got the 7-2 New England Patriots versus the 4-4 Tennessee Titans. New England is a 6.5-point favorite. Tennessee won a Monday Night Football game against the Cowboys. Patriots won at home against Aaron Rodgers. And who you got here, Brendan?
I actually think this is going to be a pretty close game. I think this could be almost an upset type game for Marcus Mariota and the Titans this week. Marcus has been playing pretty good the last 2 weeks, and I'd like to see them go in and win, but I think the Patriots will easily win this game.
This is kind of my bold prediction of the week. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win behind Coach Mike Vrabel. They've struggled a little bit, but that game against the Cowboys showed a lot of things. Cowboys had not lost at home, and the Tennessee Titans played really well. Marcus Mariota did some things he hadn't done in a while, and I think the Titans are going to try to come back and try to fight the Texans for the division. So I think they get a really good win over the Patriots here, something that we won't see a lot more of this year, but I do think the Titans get this win. Up next, we got the 4-4 Seattle Seahawks versus the 8-1 Los Angeles Rams. Rams, of course, lost last week against the Saints. Seahawks I think they lost to to the Lions, I'm thinking. The Rams are a 9.5-point favorite. Who do you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say the Rams' pass rush is going to be too much for that offensive line in Seattle. And Russell Westbrook's just going to be not Westbrook. Russell Wilson is just going to be thrown around like a rag doll this game by that defensive line.
Yeah.
And they won't be able to do nothing this week.
Aaron Donald leads the league in sacks. They just traded for Dante Fowler Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I do think the Rams get a good victory here. They're a 9.5-point favorite. I think they win by more than that. Seahawks are just a little bit more of a bad team than the Rams are, and I think the Rams get their 9th win of the year here. Up next, our final game. We got the Sunday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys 3-5 versus the 4-4 Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams are not where they should be. Both really sad. I think Jason Garrett should get the heck out of here. Philly is a 7-point favorite. Who do you got here, Brandon?
This is a game against two big disappointments this year. These are two teams that everybody expected to be pretty good this year, and now we're sitting midway through the season, and one's at 50 and one's trying to get back to 50. This is just a hard game to predict. I'm just gonna say Cowboys because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think both these teams have let us down this year. Jason Garrett I think his time is up. I think him and Jerry Jones just need to get out of there. Dak Prescott has been playing terrible. They're not feeding Zeke enough. They got Amari Cooper, not using him enough, not using Michael Gallup, not utilizing Cole Beasley. The defense is doing pretty good. But I do think Amari Cooper is going to have a massive game here against the Eagles, and the Cowboys are going to try to get their 4th win of the year. I'm going to say Cowboys in a really close game.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the Cowboys this year. If it's the offensive coordinator or Dak Prescott just looks like he does not recognize defenses at all when he plays. He doesn't ever call anything to get out. Whenever it's obvious that it's obvious that he's going to get screwed if they run the play that they have at the scrimmage.
I think so too, and I think if Dak Prescott doesn't have a good year next year, I don't think he has a job anymore in Dallas. Kind of miss the days of Jason Witten, Dez Bryant, and Tony Romo, but they are what they are. Things not that bright in Dallas right now, but that is all that we have for you today. I'm Jacob, and this is Brandon. This is B&J Productions. Have a wonderful weekend. We will see you next Tuesday.